Small businesses everywhere struggle with making the accounting process efficient. And Catherine, you've got a great solution for AP automation. What is AP automation?
So AP automation is really all the work that goes on outside of the accounting software. Even though accounting software has been around for 35-ish years or more, it's always been a repository of data that was put into it manually, so you could report on it faster. Like sort of the big invention of software was take it away from a manual process of posting journal entries, subledgers, adding them all up to come up with a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet. Software said, oh, we can eliminate all that. So that was the first kick at the can of automation in accounting, and they've iterated and iterated and iterated that. But there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on operationally outside of accounting before you're allowed to put that data in there. And the next iteration of automation is around that. So it's happening in the AR space and we're doing it in the AP space. But it's like a layer on top of the accounting software.
What is an example of accounts payable automation in the existing small business environment with a distributed workforce?
Anywhere where there's an accounting team involved and multiple offices. Some of our examples are customers that they have a central accounting team, say here in Toronto, and they have offices all across Canada and in the US, and they have physical invoices things being purchased on site. The invoices show up there. They're paper-based invoices or they're PDF invoices, and they print them once they get mailed into them.
That sounds very inefficient.
Yes, because
I have seen it though done in my organizations as well.
It happens all the time, and so those get like a stamp on them, and people handwrite the coding that where they're gonna charge that to. They give it to a manager for approval. They might have to send it to another manager, and this just gets physically moved from place to place to place. And then they would physically key it into the accounting software. They would file it in a filing cabinet for waiting for the payment. Then they would aggregate it back together physically to pay it, put a check on that, take it to signing authorities, and they then flip through paper signing things. So we automate and digitize all of that. The paper completely goes away, then everything becomes digitized. And once it's digitized, it's like Google. I can search for it easily, I can find it, I can report on it before it goes into the accounting software, because it may or may not be a legitimate invoice, and it may or may not be allowed to be paid at a certain pace. And all of that today still exists outside of the accounting software.
There's lots of big firms and small firms competing in this space of new cloud-based accounting solutions. Where do you fit in terms of the roadmap with all those integrations necessary?
Yeah, so we do have to integrate, we bolt on, and we talk to both desktop and cloud solutions today because about 80% are still desktop. We have a white label partnership with Sage Accounting, so we talk to their Sage 50 products, 100, 300, and 500, which is sort of covers the North American market. We connect to NetSuite, Sage Intacct, Xero, and QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. And then we have a couple of special ones. There's one actually out of Toronto here called Jonas Software, and they have a club management solution, which is the predominant solution in the US. So we have a lot of clubs, golf and country clubs.
When you think about the CFO trying to manage all of this going on and you're trying to reduce costs, what is the ROI you can show a typical customer?
Typically, you'll speed up the process end to end from 50 to 70%, and you will reduce your overall cost of processing an invoice, which oddly enough, people don't even realize is costing them between $15 and $20 every time, even if it's a $5 invoice.
Is there an opportunity in the large enterprise?
Yeah, because it's the same cost whether you're doing large or small. It depends on the complexity and the distribution process. But we help bring that down to sort of a $3 to $5 cost with still the effort required to approve the invoice. Somebody has to look at it. Somebody has to push a few buttons to make it all work. And then the cost of the application is quite low.
Have you been able to measure how much you've been able to reduce errors? Because just pushing all that paper around, 10 different eyeballs looking at things, there's got to be a lot of mistakes.
An annual audit gets easier. I know this particular customer that was scanning things and printing them multiple times, they used to have a special enclosed room inside their building that was locked for their payables. All of their payables behind this steel gated door, and they don't go in it anymore. So I went to go visit them, and they had this caution tape across it. I said, why is it there? You don't go in there anymore? And they're like, yeah, we never go in there. So it was all about the auditors being able to come in and see things. So you definitely reduce errors. We haven't surveyed our customers to find out if they could even calculate that, because it was all manual before, so there's not like they're tracking it.